So in manifesting, we talk a lot about detaching. And there are two main ways that we be using that word. The first is in reference to your desires. So detaching from your desires in a way where it's like, yeah, I want that, but I'm not like clinging to it, right? Out of this fear that it will never come and then accidentally choking it and preventing it from coming. And then, secondly, in this way where we're actually describing your relationship to your current reality, usually when your current reality is not something that you want, which is like pretty much all the time in manifestation. Otherwise, why would you be trying to manifest something different or something new? And when we're talking about it in the second case here, this is like one of the hardest things for people to do. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm just speaking from my own experience, but I do believe that this is a difficult thing for most people, but it doesn't have to be. It really does not have to be if you know how manifestation actually works and how the relationship between your inner world and the outer, expression of reality works. But first off, what do we mean when we say detach from your reality? What are we actually talking about? When we're saying to detach from your reality or telling you to do that, we are saying to look at these external circumstances and stop giving them so much charge. Stop assigning so much meaning to them and basically putting so much attention on them. Detaching is turning away from the thing and not putting so much attention on it. It's not saying that it's not there, because that's a pretty difficult thing to do in many cases, especially if you're like in dire straits. Like, you are there, right? That is the reality that you're in right now. That's the external reality that you're experiencing. So it is happening. And that means that detachment is not denial. It's not saying like, nope, sorry, that's not real. That person isn't there. My debt is not real. None of this is real. And that's actually resistance, because you're trying to push the thing away by pretending that. Instead, detachment is, I'm looking away from this because I know that external circumstances are merely a reflection of internal circumstances. So I don't have to be so freaking worried about this stuff around me because it's the result of something. It's not the cause of something, if that makes sense. So that is really more what we're talking about when we're talking about detaching. It's not investing so much in that version of reality that you don't even want. Like, why would you engage with this thing so much if you don't want to keep it going? Because when we're talking about manifestation, what you focus on flourishes and will keep showing up in your life in one way or another. The vibration and the frequency of that thing, even if like the masks it wears and the people it shows up through and the situations it shows up as change, that vibration in general, energy, it will keep showing up in your life, and it will just like be all you see and all you experience, it seems. And detaching can feel very, very difficult if you are in a situation that feels very non-preferential, feels very unfortunate, feels really, really negative or shitty. And especially hard if it feels like it's been in your life for a really long time. So it's like, this is the way it's always been. How am I supposed to detach from this and just expect it to change? Well, if you know one thing and you remember this thing, you might already know it, but I'm going to give you a reminder. If you know and remember this one thing about manifestation, you will never struggle with detachment the same way again. Maybe even you won't ever struggle with it again. Like, I'm praying for you. If that's the case, then you go. But you definitely will not have as difficult a time with it as you are having now or have had in the past. So here's what to know. When people look out into their reality, the mistake they make is assuming that all of this stuff is static. To us, it looks crystallized. It looks solid. It looks immovable. But that's not actually true. That's an illusion. My favorite metaphor to explain how things really work comes from Richard Dotz. I don't remember which book this is in. If I'm going to go through Kindle and find it, and I'll put a picture of it hopefully here. But oh my God, I love Richard Dotz. I love the way he explains manifestation. But the metaphor that he uses is, most people think that when they're looking at their external reality, it's as if they're looking at this like solid image, like a painting that's never changing. In reality, what's going on is they're actually seeing a movie projected onto a screen, but the slides that she keeps showing up one after another, they're the same slide. So we think that this is static, but it's really not. What's happening is that we are focusing on the same image, the same circumstance over and over and over again without realizing it because it's become so unconscious to us that that is just what keeps being projected out into the world. So we keep experiencing that thing. Things feel so immovable and it feels really, really difficult to pull our attention away from it because we're like, it's here. It is absolutely here. But we also make the mistake of thinking that that thing is like the cause of our feeling when really like our feeling is the cause of that thing staying here. So instead, you have to remember that the world is you pushed out. The world is a mirror to you in your internal world in the best way possible. You're gorgeous. But that means that when we're talking about this, going back to the original metaphor, all you have to do is change the slides that you're putting in the projector. And he makes a really great point when he says, depending on where you put that slide in, like you might have a lot of a lot of the unfavorable slides before that slide shows up, right? But they will move. And if you stop putting in more of the unfavorable slides, the new image will show up. It's just a matter of time. And the sooner you stop focusing on this stuff on the outside, which is just a result of this internal stuff, it means nothing else but the fact that you've been focusing on it and you've been giving it meaning and value and getting engaged with it energetically. When you do that, then the sooner this new image shows up. Now, I will tell you that you don't have to, but it would behoove you to develop a sense of trust and faith that when you're not focusing on the bad thing or fixing it to get to the good, the universe already knows the good that you want. So Richard Dotz also says this, and honestly, other manifestation teachers have said this too. The moment you want it, you have the desire, you're already actually in that reality, even if it's briefly and momentarily, because you're in alignment with that thing existing. You know, it's only energetically, it's through a thought, but it's there. And so you have made that impression on the universe. Like it knows. It knows what is favorable and preferential to you. Our only job then is to get out of the way so it can give it to us, basically. So when you stop focusing so much on this other stuff, that dissolves. This thing you don't want. You change the slides, the projection changes, and then you make room for this other thing that you do want to show up. And you don't have to like even try to go out and get it so much. If there's anything you have to do to go out and get it, you will be directed towards it. Your body knows, your soul knows, your whatever higher power you believe in, if any, knows. And so that is how it will work out for you. But you see, like if you understand that this stuff, it's just like, it's so changeable. It's so changeable. You don't even have to get involved with it. It's just real because you've been making it real. Then it is so much easier to detach from that stuff. You realize that stuff doesn't mean anything. It only means something if you make it mean something. So if you have, let's say you deal with a lot of really rude people. And people keep coming up to you and being rude. And like, you'll have the reaction you have, right? Like I was in customer service. People were assholes to me sometimes. And I was like, well, that fucking sucks. Like I didn't enjoy that, right? And I wasn't going to pretend that I liked the person. I wasn't going to do anything to try to see them differently. However, one thing that I did that really put me in a hole was I made that mean something about myself and my life. I was like, I'm easy to talk shit to. I'm always going to be stuck in this kind of position. People are always going to be rude to me, because it happened outside of customer service too. I had really weird interactions with people for a while. I said all of these things that continually engaged me with that being my reality without realizing that I could have changed that if I was just like, okay, that doesn't mean anything. These are like leftovers from past focuses that I've had. Like these are just like the new slide hasn't come in yet. The other stuff, it's like debris that's making its way out. I didn't realize that I could do that. If I had, things would have changed so much faster. And they would have gotten to the point that they get now. Like now, I don't deal with that. I have very pleasant interactions with people most of the time. You see, I was making this mean something. It felt very static. It felt very unchangeable. But no, it was just a reflection. And I'll give you one more metaphor because I love metaphors. If you're trying to change the way you look in the mirror, right? Like you want to change your outfit, I guess we could say. Do you smash the mirror and hope that that solves the problem? No, you go change outfits. Like the mirror is just telling you what you're wearing. And that's the same case here. And it also, so you don't have to have an issue with your mirror. You can leave your mirror alone. Or unless you don't like the mirror. But the same thing goes with like the external circumstances. Like you don't have to get so attached to these and fix them and even look at them really for them to dissolve, because they're, as soon as you take your attention away, the universe is already serving up the next better thing. Like you're already moving on to the next slides and the picture and the projection changes. So if you know this, you just don't take that stuff on the outside so seriously because it's not as stable as you think it is. It is just, again, it's just debris making its way out, making room for that solid gold, baby. As somebody who has very much struggled to detach from my reality, I feel like this is one of the best things that you can learn, and it's one of the most helpful things in manifesting. Anyway, that's it from me. By the way, if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you could leave a like. And if you'd like more content like this, also on human design, I'm a human design reader and teacher, then subscribe to my channel. And if you don't want to do either of those, that is okay. Always happy to have you here. That joke is going to run dry one day. As always, you rock, and I will talk to you next time.